No wonder that a lot of artists are horrified about AI. I mean, look at this. A multi-million-dollar studio got together and did their best in order to create a product that they wanted you to buy. And despite all of their work, despite all of their crunch, despite the United States of America pooling their resources together, they were incapable and incompetent in creating something that the AI just made better in a couple of seconds. You know, all jokes aside though, the AR doesn't have a massive corporeal manifestation of a diversity officer lady that looms over the artist and forbids the artist from creating, doesn't allow the artist to express themselves. So you end up with some shit like this. But the AI, you know, is free from these chains. He is not shackled from these limitations and creates something that the AI knows that the market actually wants. And what's interesting is, all putting debate aside, wouldn't it have created a more interesting dynamic in the video game? Because when I see something like this, my male lizard brain just shuts off, and I'm willing to ignore all of your shit dialogue. Like, if you're incapable of writing a good story, you can hide it behind this. Because my brain, when I see the fan service, I just stop thinking, and then you can write whatever you want. It doesn't really matter, okay? So you can save a bad story, because I know, like, radical left-leaning people are incapable of actually writing something good. Like, for instance, here they decided to kill the main character for no reason whatsoever in a very dumb story, and you can literally hide that. You can put it under the rug or put it under the titty, as they say. But still, you know, it's also interesting because when you see a character that looks like this, as a man, you instantly feel connected to it. Like it's some evolutionary thing. Like, you want to protect beautiful women regardless of how bad they are. And this is why you see a lot of people online with absolutely toxic personalities, because if they look like this, they can get away with a lot of things. And this is what people were saying in the comment sections, that if Abby actually looked like this, they would have difficulty in hating the character. So it's an interesting human psychological event that's happening here that many individuals on Twitter don't even want to engage with it. It's actually explored in anime. You have a really interesting anime Legacy of a Shield Hero, where the villainess is very beautiful looking and she's gorgeous to behold. But she has like this incredibly rotten character, so you have many people actually sympathizing with her despite the fact that her personality is that of a piece of shit. So, you know, it's interesting is what I want to say, but it actually triggers a lot of people on Twitter. Like, they literally cannot sleep at night because I made this joke. And here you have an example where someone says that she isn't imposing and that design is bland. I would actually agree that the design would be bland if this was made in the 90s or the early 2000s, where literally every single female character was made to look like an OnlyFans model. But we are in 2024, where the man-jaw industrial complex is coming from California now. Like, every single female character now looks more like Abby than they look like an OnlyFans girl. So this would actually make an interesting design. It would be different. There are generations of people that just turned 18 and they have never seen a beautiful female character in a modern video game. So I actually disagree with this. But it's also the interesting thing where they say, well, because she looks beautiful, she doesn't look imposing. And I'm like, well, have you ever gone to a nightclub? Have you ever actually gone outside? Because a woman that's oozing femininity and she is smoking hot, you're going to see that a lot of individuals who aren't confident with themselves can't even make eye contact with her. Especially if she's surrounded by 2 or 3 other friends of hers that look just as hot. A lot of men won't even have the balls to start the conversation. So there is a lot of strength that can actually come from femininity, especially in social interactions. So yeah, I would say that a woman that looks very gorgeous can also be imposing. You don't actually have to put thick muscles on her arms in order to make her look quote-unquote powerful. Like, there is a power that women have, which is femininity, and there's also a power that men have, which is masculinity. They don't have to be equal. They can be different and to complete each other. But anyway, here's another example from a gentleman saying that, where in a ruined world did she find a tank top that can act like a sports bra? Right, so you got the reality bro. Like every single video game, every single fiction needs to have 100% imposed reality only when it comes with the female aesthetics. Now, what's interesting is that if you're looking at The Last of Us too, where does she find the steroids in the ruined world? Where does she have abundance of food and meat in order to gorge herself, in order to look like the way she does? Where do they manage to grow all the food on their little football stadium in order for Abby to have to constantly eat, in order to look as muscular? Why do none of the other women in the game look like her, right? So, for some reason, reality needs to destroy fantasy. Like you need to have the reality beating fantasy with the ugly stick. And you're also going to see that there are many zombie movies and zombie TV shows and American stuff where the main character or one of the female character has rainbow colored hair, and no one is asking, well, where are they getting the hair dye from? Well, when do they have the time to care about their hair when the whole purpose of the game is survival? So again, like this is just a cope. This is just like one of the reasoning for them to try and articulate why they don't like something and why it shouldn't exist. But I suppose this right here is the crux of the problem. You have individuals in America that have been indoctrinated, okay? Like something very bad happened to them. The American media and the academia has literally done brain damage to them with their ideology. So now they have to hide behind closed doors and barred windows to escape reality. Because you see, most human beings around the world, around the age of 2, can differentiate between fact and fiction. Like, if your child cannot do this at the age of 2, if they don't know that Tom and Jerry are not a real cat and mouse, then they need some help. Like, you need to be concerned. You need to take them to a doctor because they need some help in order to develop. Unless they're an American that went to gender studies, then it's normal, okay? Because they have undergone through the indoctrination, and the ability to differentiate fact and fiction was robbed away from them. Abby is not an actual woman. And I know this is shocking for some Americans, and it's like, but no, okay? She's not a woman. She's a product. It's a fictional character. It's pixels on your screen that your brain anthropomorphizes in order to believe that it's an actual person. But the reality is that she is not a person. She is a fiction of your imagination. But more importantly, she is a product that people want you to pay $70 for. So the question is, why are they making a product that they know the market doesn't like? Because when I did my bait, over 90% of the people, not only did they say that the version that I created with AI is better, but they would also purchase the figurine. They would also purchase the little statuette. So basically, the company is losing sales. They're losing sales because, number one, their game looks bad. Like, there would be more people that would buy the game if it actually had pleasant aesthetics. But they could sell t-shirts, they could sell caps, they could sell keychains, they could sell dakimakuras, and they could sell even little statuettes of Abby. Why are they not doing it? And by not doing it, they're going to just try to sell you DLC. They're going to remake the game even though it doesn't need remaking so that they can sell it to you again. Like, they're going to try to milk money from other sources simply because they're just cutting off their own avenue when they could just simply do it. And my favorite thing is, like, people telling me, you just like porn? Like, we are talking about The Last of Us too, right? We are talking about the scene that's a meme. So it's interesting that they are very fine with defending stuff as long as it's grotesque. As long as it's violent, vulgar, like they're fine with defending that. But heaven forbid you depict something that's pleasant to behold. And what's also interesting is that they're fine with over-the-top violence. I mean, again, the whole golf club thing, which is in the game, like, they're fine with that. But they're not fine with the beautiful-looking woman. Again, like, I don't know what the fat university professors have done to these people in order to demoralize them as such. But please, at least have a moment of self-reflection and think about the arguments that you are making.